Fitin10 Nation, it is day 37 of the challenge, and I'm going to get right into some more questions here. And yesterday when I talked about sources of protein, there was an added bit to that question, and so let me just read it. This is a bit of an abbreviated version of that question. Raw versus cooked salmon, which is one better than the other? I would always think that cooked would be better just because it's, it's safer, right? Like if you're eating uncooked meat, then you always run the risk of, getting some bacteria that's going to be harmful to you, right? That's going to make you sick. So I would always say cooked, but maybe that's not what you're asking. In terms of, I hope you guys by now understand that. And listen, forgive me if you do, and I'm just telling you this, but you understand that if something is cooked, it's going to be more protein dense by weight, right? Because you've lost water, right? So, meat is like 75% water. So, understand that. So, I hope that nobody's confused by the fact that cooked meat shows as being more protein dense. It's just because it's lost water during the cooking process, right? Okay. All right. Okay, this is an interesting question. Stress and anxiety and its effect on fat loss. So here's the thing. Stress and anxiety in and of itself should burn more calories. Plain and simple. So why do people gain weight when they're stressed out? Well, usually it's the coping mechanisms that come along with it. It's the alcohol or excess food, hopefully not drugs. Well, I guess alcohol is a drug. But usually it's one of the two that I mentioned or both, right? So quite often it's food. And so there's kind of a good explanation for this. And again, this is not mechanistic. Well, it is mechanistic, but I'm sure there's probably other reasons why people eat. But here's one thing that's kind of interesting to note. So when you're stressed out, your body will release a hormone called cortisol, right? Which is, you've probably heard about this before. And cortisol is a way of raising blood sugar levels because you're stressed and your body's going through more energy, and so cortisol needs to be there to produce more energy. This is just a response to a position that essentially that you're putting yourself in. As much as we believe that stress, we don't have control over our feelings of stress, of course we do, right? Now, that's not to say it's easy, but we do. So we release this cortisol to raise our blood sugar levels. But what happens through this is that we need an amino acid called tryptophan as a building block for cortisol. Cortisol just doesn't come from nowhere. It has to be produced, and there are building blocks towards that. So we need this amino acid called tryptophan. Well, the problem is that tryptophan is also needed as a building block for serotonin. So now you've got these competing things, right? So what happens is if you eat sugar when you're stressed out, you blunt the release of cortisol because, you're raising blood sugar levels by eating sugar, right? So cortisol drops. Tryptophan then becomes, the amino acid tryptophan then becomes more readily available. And then you have tryptophan for serotonin. Right, and this is, I'm not sure, to be honest with you, whether this is the reason why serotonin is produced when you have carbohydrates, but we do know that when you have carbohydrates, we get more serotonin release. And serotonin makes us feel good. It also makes us feel a little bit tired, but we feel good, right? And, this is one of the, mechanistic physiology-based type explanations for why we go towards sugar, when we're stressed. Okay, so while stress and anxiety in and of itself might help us to lose fat or to burn energy, let's be more specific here. It's burning energy. It doesn't differentiate between fat or muscle. So chances are you're going to be burning both, okay? It's not preferential just going to burn fat. But like I said, so if we're losing muscle, then obviously we are putting ourselves in a position where the BMR is being lessened, right? So if we lose muscle over time, we're going to need less calories to sustain our weight, right? So, so if the calories stay the same and we're losing muscle, then obviously we're going to gain more body fat. Okay, most likely we will, unless there's some other means that's burning energy for us, right? Some extra other means of something else that's been introduced that's burning more energy, but highly unlikely. So that's one thing to look at, but the other thing here is that you're just going to eat, right? You're going to want to eat, and that's going to obviously put more weight on. So we can look at things like the loss of muscle potentially from that stressful situation, coupled with the fact that we're adding more body fat by eating sugar, right? So usually in times of stress and anxiety, typically what we tend to see is people will put on weight, okay? So this is where the confusion may lie as to whether, stress and anxiety makes people fat or not. Again, quite often we want to associate body fat with a number of chronic diseases. But it's not body fat that produces the chronic diseases. It's the lifestyle that we lead that puts on body fat that also gives rise to these other chronic diseases, right? So it's not that fat made those chronic diseases, it's that the lifestyle led to both of those, right? The increase in body fat and then these chronic diseases, right? So just something to think about, right? Just because two things are correlated doesn't mean one started the other, right? There could be something else that had them both sprout, right? So just keep that in mind. 7 minutes, wow, okay. All right, message of the day. Message of the day goes like this. Success is connected with action. Successful people keep moving. They make mistakes, but they don't quit, right? You will not quit. You will not quit. Rather, you will just submit and commit rather than quit, right? That's really what, you should be. That at least should be the message that you remind yourself of, right? You will submit and commit and not quit. Let me read it one more time. Success is connected with action. Successful people keep moving. They make mistakes, but they don't quit. And I don't know about you, but for me personally, if I feel as though, and I'm going to say feel because this is what happens to me, if I don't feel like I am happy with, being productive, okay? My level of productivity isn't there, however I want to measure that. Then I feel, I honestly get depressed. So, I'm not saying that action is the, the remedy for depression, but it might just be, okay, for you. It's very, very possible. So if you're doing something productive or constructive over time, that might be helpful towards you if you're feeling, well, let's just say it, if you're feeling bad about yourself, okay? So I'll say it one more time. Success is connected with action. Successful people keep, I hate saying successful people, but let's just use that word. I think we can all, agree what that means. Successful people keep moving. They make mistakes, but they don't quit, okay? Success comes in many forms is basically what I'm saying, okay? All right, that's all I'm going to say. Positive energy, positive vibes, give some gratitude, and of course, believe in yourself. And of course, I already said it, but I'm going to say it again. Submit and commit. Keep moving forward, one foot in front of the other. If you fall down, get up and keep going. Do not quit. That is no good reason not to quit. You will have many failures. You will have reasons to believe why you cannot do this. You will have many reasons to believe that it's not possible for you, or maybe that it just requires too much. But really, you just have to plan, prepare, and think about ways to make this easier for yourself while still, following the pillars of this challenge, right? Adhering to the pillars of the challenge. Guys, day 37, I'll talk to you all very soon. More classes are coming. We will be putting them out there, so just hang tight. More in the gym classes, that is. Make sure you get in all your workouts, 5 per week, right? We'll talk to you all soon. See you.